Hello, welcome to Module 2, and in Module 2 we will be talking about colors. So in this module, in lesson number 1, we will see about the color of a motif. We will have an exercise to color a boat, the solution, and then we have another exercise which will be coloring blocks. And then in lesson number 2, we will see about the fabric prints. You will have a little exercise that you can do and the suggested solution to that fabric group. And finally, a little bonus, some extra fabric labels to play with. So let's start with lesson number 1, the color of the motif. So what do we use? Well, the chromatic circle or color wheel. That's what we're going to use to work with. So the chromatic circle is divided into two parts. You have the warm colors, which are on the left, usually the red, yellows, purples, and then the cold colors, which are on the right. The purple, dark purple, the blues, the turquoise, the greens. They've been separated on the chromatic circle. As you can see, I've put a little dotted line so that you can see which side is warm and which side is cold. Now, the warm colors are dominant over the cold colors, and the placement of the color on a quilt top won't be perceived the same way by the eye. So here's an example of a warm color. The warm color is the yellow, and the cold color is the blue. Now, on that first little flower, you can see that whatever intensity of blue I use, the yellow comes out. In the middle one, I only used one yellow, but it still comes out. And on the right-hand side, I tried it out with dark blues, and you can see whichever flower you look at, it's the yellow that comes out because that's a warm color. So let's see what we can do using a certain amount of colors. So if we use only one color, it's called monochromatic. And this is what it will look like on the color wheel. And I've made an example with a little basket. So you can use one color, here purple, and you can decide to use different hues of that color from light to dark. And that's what you would get if you were to make the block of the basket. Now, if I use two colors, those two colors are going to be next to each other. As you can see here, I chose two colors next to each other. Now they can be on one side, which are the warm, on the other, which is the cold. You can mix them as long as they're next to each other. Visually, they'll be nice. So when they're next to each other, we call those analogous. So for example, here in my basket, I chose to use colors, yellow colors and orange colors in different hues. Okay, going from light to dark, that would be the result that you would get. Now, we can also use two colors called complementary. What are complementary colors? They're exactly opposite on the color wheel. So if I start again with my yellow, then on the color wheel, I'll find the opposite side, which is the purple. And here you can also use different hues of yellow and different hues of purple. Now, three colors. I'm still using adjoining colors, so one next to each other. So here, if I go with my yellow, I'm going to choose a color on each side of my yellow. So I'm going to choose the green and the orange, and that's what my little basket block would look like. Now, I'm going to choose three colors on the color wheel, but in different places. So if I were to pick my yellow, the opposite of my yellow is my purple, okay? So what I'll do is I'm not going to use the yellow, but I'm going to use each color on each side of that yellow. You always have a geometrical aspect to what you're doing. So if I want my purple and I want two colors on the opposite side, then you take your purple, you find that the opposite color is the yellow, and then you pick two colors on each side of that yellow. In other words, if my purple, I want to find colors that will fit with my purple, then the opposite of my purple is my yellow, so I'll take one on each side. So I will take the orange and the green, and that's what the basket will look like if I use those three colors. Same thing, I can change the hues if I want within that color range. Now if I use four colors, I'm going to start with using four colors, one next to each other. So same thing, just pick four, whatever side, wherever they're located on my color wheel, I just pick four next to each other. And for example, this is what my basket block would look like. Now, if I want four complementary colors, meaning one on each side of my color wheel, then this is what I could have. So I can pick three on one side and then the opposite. So if by picking three on one side, my middle color is the yellow. Okay, if I have my orange, yellow, and green, the middle color of those three colors is my yellow. So I pick the color opposite of my yellow, which is my purple. And that's what my basket would look like. Now, if I choose two colors on one side and two colors on the other side, then I need to, for example, if I want my yellow and my orange, then I need to pick two colors on the opposite side. How would I do that? Well, either in the middle of my orange and my yellow is my lighter orange. Opposite of my lighter orange is that deep purple, blue purple. And then I just take on opposite. In other words, it will look like a rectangle. So here's an example. So I've picked some yellow that you see as my basic basket. And then the orange gives a little bit of the hoop of the basket. And then my background is made up of my purple and my turquoise. So the exercise that I have for you to try and figure out all these is dispatching the boats. So you have all these boats here that I've made associated colors to, and then you just need to find out whether it's a warm analogous, a cold analogous, and so on. You will have the solution. There is a PDF solution to help you with that. Now, the other exercise that I have prepared for you, it's 22 little blocks that need to be colored in. This is to get you to exercise yourself. For example, here's my little basket. If you take the basket and you need to use two colors for it, then I prepared some where you need to use three colors and then another one where you need to use four colors. Altogether, there are 22 different blocks that you can play with. And this is what you're going to do. So you're going to color in the shapes. So for example, this is our first sheet. If I use two colors, this is what it might look like. Now you can also use shades, use of quilt colors. I could have used different greens or different purple to do this. If I use three colors, this is what my basket would look like. And then if I use four colors, that's what it would look like. The purpose of this exercise is, first of all, to check out your blocks. For example, if I do my first basket with only two colors, then I don't really need to break those four little squares down. I can make a whole big square, okay? So that will help you with your block. That will be used from the lesson number 1. From lesson 1 in module 1, we saw how a block is made up. So for example, this basket is a 4-patch grid. So a 4-patch grid, I would break it down. Now if I only use two colors, I'm not gonna make those 4 little squares. I'll make a big one, but I'll know the size of my big square because I already know the size of this 4-patch grid. 3 colors, you will notice that some patterns, some blocks, you can't just use 2 colors because then it's going to be all messed up. You won't see the pattern come out, the motifs come out. It's going to look a bit weird. So sometimes some blocks you'll need to use 3 colors or 4 colors. Here you can see that using 4 colors, I'm giving a little bit more, a nicer touch to my basket by using 4 colors. So this exercise is really to get you to see whether when you see a motif, a block motif, should you use 2, 3, or 4 colors or more, possibly, okay? Um, and also, the purpose of this exercise is that I want you to take the block to color them in, and then if there's a block that you really like, you like the association of the colors, then that would be the kind of block that you can go to your fabric stash and start choosing fabrics that would come as close as possible to what you've drawn or colored in, and that's another way to help you choose your colors for your blocks. So that's it for lesson number 1, and I'll see you in lesson number 2. Thank you.